After our last week's video on a combination of ACCA plus CFA, we've been getting a lot of requests from students wanting to have us make a video on ACCA plus US CPA. So in today's video, we're going to once again explain number one, is this combination of ACCA plus CPA right for you? Second, if it is right for you, what is the overlap or the synergy between the curriculums and the exams? And then finally, we're going to talk about the actual practical value of this in the industry. So let's get into part one. Part one is this the right combo for you? I have said this over and over again in multiple videos of mine on LinkedIn posts that try and ensure that maybe the first qualification, whether it is ACCA or CPA, most likely it would be ACCA because the eligibility for ACCA is lower. Let's assume it's ACCA. If you take up ACCA at the beginning without knowing why, right, you just want to do something in the field of finance or accounts, or somebody's told you it's an international qualification, or your friend is doing it, and you've just given your grade 12 or whatever your reasons are, and you took it up, justified. Many people do that, and it's okay to jump into something. The second qualification, which in your case, if you're talking about US CPA, should not be done just to collect the next qualification. You need to think about after you complete ACCA, you have worked for, let's say, 3 years or 5 years, you're in the industry, you're seeing the ability to progress, and then you realize, okay, I realize that I like to work in this particular department, or I know colleagues now who are working in this department and I understand what is required over there, and the way to get there is an additional qualification like US CPA. That's when you decide to do it. Another reason why a lot of people do it is you have time, you have the energy, you have the inclination. You don't know if you want to go to the US. You don't know if the US CPA qualification will ever come in handy. But because you've done something in the field of accounting like ACCA, you feel that, okay, you have it in you to comfortably, along with something, maybe along with your work, comfortably finish CPA. Great, go ahead, because in this case, you are collecting a qualification without knowing the future. But as long as your reason is, okay, I want to either move to the US, most likely, the companies you're working for you will be able to substantiate your position because you now also understand CPA. This whole thing can be flipped. Assuming you did CPA first, all my reasons would then apply similarly for ACCA. But the combination has to be, it can't just be for salary hikes. If that's the reason you're doing it, then do not. Either it is because you realize that to get somewhere, you need to do both of them, or you've done one, you have time, energy, and you're doing the other one because you hope that your future is going to be slightly stronger by taking up the second qualification. Next is the synergy or the overlap between ACCA and CPA. First of all, ACCA is what we call global CA. CPA is what we call US CA. So first of all, both are chartered accounting programs. Chartered accountancy always tries to make you an expert in the field of finance, accounts, and all the compliance related laws of that country. So first of all, when you study ACCA, you automatically cover accounting, finance, taxation, audit, and law at a global level. In CPA, you'll cover the same subjects. However, the difference is ACCA has a total of 13 subjects. If you start from zero, CPA has only 4 subjects because CPA is expecting, the eligibility itself is so high that they expect your base to be covered in your bachelor's and your master's, and that's why CPA is only 4 subjects. To make it simple, right, there's 4 subjects of CPA. So the first one is financial accounting and reporting, which in CPA teaches you US GAAP, ACCA teaches you international accounting standards. So it's good to have a knowledge of international accounting standards and US GAAP because the way you approach accounting standards is the same. You just have to learn different laws for US GAAP. Second, there is a subject, there's auditing. Auditing is again going to be very similar. It just has to, the rules of auditing might be a little different in CPA. But you have already, of course, completed that subject in ACCA. Third is regulation. Regulation in CPA is very specific. It's all about US tax and laws. In ACCA, when you learn tax and law, not only are you learning an individual country or an international variant of tax or law, you're also learning the concepts of tax and laws. If you pursue CPA after ACCA, you'll already understand the concepts of tax and law. All you have to do is remember the particular criteria, the particular conditions of US. So that's with respect to regulation. And the fourth one is called BEC, which is Business Environment Concepts. This covers a little bit of finance, a little bit of management accounting, all of which is, and a little bit of business. All of this is partially taught also in ACCA. So the good thing is, whether you study CPA first or ACCA first, the other qualification has a lot of similarity in terms of the approach of the concepts, but you might have to learn the different laws and the different policies and the different standards of individual countries. And finally, the actual practical value. So please understand, both ACCA, CPA are strong enough qualifications. Employers who understand the value know that it's not necessary that you've done the ACCA or CPA, because it takes a tremendous amount of effort to study and clear these exams, which puts you in a category of people who have gone through the intense training of understanding a problem, learning different principles for solutions, and then applying it to your own problem, which forces you to become a problem solver essentially. So the practical value is, number one, either of the qualifications is good enough to get you somewhere in the industry. A combination will matter in one of two ways, right? Like we said before, either there are employers or companies or departments who look for this particular combination, which in India, ACCA plus CPA is rare. I've not seen people, lining it up that, okay, fine, if you have ACCA, do CPA or vice versa, and you'll get a better job. So I would not recommend doing it in that manner, at least not for India. However, the major value will come because ACCA is what we call, like I said, global. It covers a lot of countries, but it does not particularly cover the US. And US CPA covers obviously US, but it's also a US based qualification. It has massive demand even in other countries. So having two qualifications, which are essentially both are global in nature, your ability to work in any company. So there might be companies who recognize only CPA. You have that. They might recognize ACCA more, or they might value ACCA more. You have that. If you go to another country, whether it's Europe, whether it is America, whether it is Australia, most likely one of these qualifications will work. So that is the real advantage of having both these qualifications on your side. Besides this, guys, I'm assuming that you all have not pursued CA in this. If you already are an Indian CA, everything I said is enhanced, because with Indian CA, with global CA, with US CA, your ability to the ability to figure out if it's the right combination for you, the synergy and the overlap in the curriculum, and the value for you across the world are all enhanced, because now you also have another additional difficult qualification under your belt, and that's how you'll be able to go out to the market, search for your true value, and accordingly all your efforts on studying these additional qualifications will be worth it.